Hi, 7th grade. Today I am assigning Shiloh comprehension questions for chapter 11 through 14. So I made this video so that I can read you the questions without having to read them each to you individually. And so you can go back and forth from your worksheet that I'm showing you right now. It looks like this. See this? Yep. And the video on your Google Classroom, and you can listen to me repeat myself 100 times if you need to, or 0 times if you need to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read each question and maybe give you a hint if you need one and tell you which chapter to look in, although it does tell you on the sheet. And then if you have additional questions, you can still raise your hand and I can come help you. So without further ado, I need you to get your book and turn to chapter 11, which in the green book is on page 96. If you have a black book, I'm very sorry, but I am only going to do green book pages. I will write them on the board after this, but it's just complicated to say green book and black book every time. So here we go. Number 1 says, why is Marty careful when he eats peaches? Okay, so in chapter 11, it talks about, on the second page of the chapter, which is in the green book, it's on page 97, it talks about him eating a peach, and there is a reason he has to be careful. Okay, it has nothing to do with the dog at all, but just the peaches. So make sure you answer that and all of these in complete sentences. Okay, so pause the video, go back to the page, this page right here that I'm showing you, this one, and answer that question in a complete sentence. All right? Here's number 2. Number 2 says, who came to visit Marty after Shiloh got attacked? Okay, so this is the name of his friend, that kid that he hangs out with, and that didn't quite know about Shiloh yet. If you flip the page from the page that says chapter 11 to chapter 90, or sorry, page 98 in the green book, or the third page of chapter 11 in the black book, then you will find the name of that. I do need his first and last name, and you did it in a complete sentence. Alright, go ahead and pause the video, go back and answer that question in a complete sentence. Good. Alright, number 3 says, where does Shiloh get to stay when he gets home from the vet? Okay, I want a specific answer. So I want you to tell me, where is he sleeping? He doesn't go back outside into his pen. He gets to stay somewhere new. Okay? And that's important because it talks about how the characters are starting to change in the story. Because at first, Mom and Dad are very against Shiloh, but we know as the story continues, they learn to love him. So, I believe that is on, hold on, page 103 in the green book, or the last page of chapter 11 in the black book. Okay? Alright, once you're done with that, move on to chapter 12. And the first question of chapter 12 says, how do you know that even Dad is starting to like Shiloh? Okay, so I need a specific example, not just he likes him. I need you to tell me how you know that Dad is starting to like Shiloh. So, I believe that is on the first and second pages of chapter 12. So page 105 in the green book, or sorry, no, 105 and 106 in the green book. And then the first 2 pages of the chapter in the black book. Okay? That's the only question in chapter 12. So whenever you're done with that one, move on to chapter 13. So the first question of chapter 13 says, what does Marty say he will do if Judd doesn't sell Shiloh? Okay? So in chapter 13, we don't know about his deal he makes with Judd yet. So you need to look back and say, what does he say he's going to do if if Judd doesn't sell Shiloh, not the deal they strike. Okay, so hold on, let me think here. That one is on page 114 in the green book, or if you're in the black book, it's on the second page of the chapter. And a hint is that he is talking to David whenever he is making that alternate plan. Okay? And then the number 2 in chapter 13 says, what does Marty see in the woods and what happens to it? So that one is on the second to last page of the chapter 13, or page 118 in the green book. It's an animal and something bad happens to it. I need you to put in the answer who makes that thing happen to the animal. Okay? And then chapter 14 says, what compromise do Marty and Judd come to? That one is just, what deal do they strike? What does Marty say he will do if Judd does something for him? And I believe in chapter 14, it is on page 125 of the Green Book. So that is, in the Black Book would be, hold on, I gotta look, about 4 pages from the beginning of the chapter. So, that is just a straight answer, like, you just tell me what Marty's going to do for Judd and what is Judd going to do for Marty. Number 2, how much money does Marty have to pay for Shiloh? That is also on page 100, I lost my page. Oops. Anyways, that's on the same page as the previous one. Okay, on page 125. Okay? And then the last one says, name one task that Marty has to do for Judd. So, this one, if you need to sneak into chapter 15 to help you remember what is one thing he has to do for Judd, you can. Or else, there is one answer in chapter 14. But there's a lot of choices if you go on to chapter 15. That's the one that I just read yesterday. So, if you want to go into chapter 15, it's pretty much on every page what he has to do for Judd. But it starts on page 132 and goes until the very end of the story. So, this is what you're doing. When you're done with this, please turn it in, and then you may either read a book or do IXL while you wait for others to finish. All right, thank you. Goodbye.